Alright guys, welcome back. So I will be talking about Batman Arkham Knight, which came out just last week pretty much. Yeah, and I mean it was one of the most anticipated games coming into the year. I think it was in my top 10 for sure, going into this year. I played both Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, and I really enjoyed those games. They're great. I even played Arkham Origins, and I think that game's really good too. I don't know why I get such a bad rap. But yeah, all the new Batman games have been really good and real fun. And Arkham Knight's no exception. So, first of all, the game looks fantastic. It's probably the best looking game. It's one of the best looking games. I can't definitively say it's the best looking game on these current consoles, but it's definitely up there. I mean, the detail on Batman is ridiculous, and even on other characters and stuff, it's really good. The world looks really good. I didn't really notice much as far as frame rate issues and stuff like that. I mean, the game did freeze on me like 3 or 4 times. But I mean, that's gonna happen sometimes. I honestly haven't had too much games freeze on me, but it didn't bother me too much because there wasn't too many issues besides that. But yeah, I mean, the story I thought was probably the best in the Rocksteady series. I mean, both Asylum and City had really good stories, I thought. But I feel like this is overall the story is really just the best all-around story they've done in one of these games. And they managed to throw in like a handful of twists that you might not see coming, especially the first twist. I don't think a lot of people saw coming. And it's amazing how they managed to keep it a surprise, but the twists make it, really interesting to keep playing, and you want to just keep playing to see what happens next. I mean, the characters are great. I mean, if you know Batman, if you have somewhat understanding of the Batman universe, then you're gonna like the characters. And the voice acting in the game's well done. So, yeah, the story is just really solid. The ending. I mean, the ending that you just get from being the main story is it's kind of lame. But the ending you get from completing the Gotham's Most Wanted thing is pretty good, and then the true ending is very interesting. So it's not the best ending, that's for sure, because Arkham City had one of the best endings ever in the game. That whole scene with Joker and Batman, like, it's ridiculously good. So if it didn't top that, I mean, but it's hard to top one of the best things ever. So I thought it was a solid ending. I was satisfied with the way the Arkham series ended. I mean, as far as Rocksteady's Arkham series, it's ended. I don't know if there's gonna be more Arkham games, because we didn't have the one kind of Warner Brothers Montreal, I think, works on Batman games now, because they did Origins. So I don't know if they're gonna call it Arkham still. Maybe we're just gonna call it Batman The Joker Rides Again or something like that, but we'll see. Maybe there's more Arkham, but there's gonna be more Batman, we know for sure. But yeah, I mean, as the gameplay is as good as ever, if not slightly better. I feel like we did, kind of tune things up. It still feels good. The combat is classic Batman Arkham combat that everybody uses now, because it's just a really good system. It's just fun being Batman. Like, that's what I could say. Like, being Batman in this game is fun, and just being like a predator and just hunting down, just kind of the henchmen in those rooms and just trying to figure out how to take them out quietly and stealthily is still just a blast to do. Gliding around the world is really cool and fun, and there's tons. The side missions are really good. Like, I think the side missions in the game are the best in the series. Like, I never really played much around with the side stuff in Asylum or City, because it never fully grabbed me, but I did pretty much everything. Besides, I didn't do, well, I haven't done some of, like, just taking out outposts and stuff like that and getting rid of bombs. Like, I haven't done that, but I've pretty much done all the story related side stuff, and I thought they were all cool, really, like, just interesting to go through, and you get to see some new and old villains. So I thought side stuff was the best in the series so far, and the gameplay was as top notch as you would expect. But then we get to kind of the weakest part of the game, and probably the weakest part of the whole Arkham series, and that's the Batmobile. And I guess kind of not just the Batmobile itself, just driving around is, I do enjoy it. It's a nice change up from gliding around, and I feel like it does, after a while, when you get used to like driving around, it does start to feel good. Like, when I first started driving the Batmobile around, I was like, holy crap, I can't drive this thing. But now, I feel like I'm pretty much a pro at driving it. So, it takes some time getting used to it. Once you do, it feels pretty good. But the worst part is the Bat Tank. The Bat Tank, it controls well, but it feels like it's taken from another game. Like, it feels like it should just be in a tank game or something, not a Batman game. It doesn't fit at all, and it's just those segments of the game that involve the Bat Tank are the most boring, and just like they can be the most frustrating too, segments of the game, because you just want to be a Batman, but you're stuck in a Bat Tank just shooting drones. Like, it's not that great. It's really not. And sure, if they had, like, 2 or 3 missions that involve this, I would be like, it's not that great, but it's a nice change up. But it's seriously like half the main story is filled with these frickin' Bat Tank missions, and it's not fun. Like, I find them to be, like, when I have to do one, I'm like, oh my god, just get me out of here. I just want to be Batman. Just finish this already. Quit it. Get out of the Batmobile. So yeah, it's the worst part of the game. It's the worst part of the whole Batman series so far. It's not fun. Here, and I'll spoil something. So if you don't want anything spoiled, then leave for like 20 seconds. But at one point, the Batmobile gets destroyed. And then, so like when the Batmobile got destroyed, I was like, oh, finally, I don't have to do any more tank combat stuff. So then, like, I think it was like 20 minutes later, spoilers, again, if you don't want anything spoiled, don't listen to this. But Oracle says to Batman, like, what happened to Bat Tank? And Batman's like, it got destroyed. And I'm like, yes, thank God it's destroyed. And like, the second I said that, he's like, but good thing Lucius made a backup one. I'm like, God damn it. So then you get to use the Bat Tank again. So yeah, the Bat Tank, worst part. It's just not fun. even though if it does control fairly well, but still, it's just not fun. And like the bat tank kind of bleeds over into the other kind of negative part of the game, and that's the boss fights or lack of boss fights. There's really no boss fights in this game, which is kind of disappointing because I thought the boss fights in Asylum and City and Origins, like, they got progressively better and better. Like Origins, I thought had fantastic boss fights. But there's like no boss fights in this game. I don't know why they did it. I think they were trying to go for a more cinematic experience. But still, like, I kind of do miss the boss fights. I mean, Two-Face in the game, you can take him out like he's a normal thug. So that's not really a boss fight. And like there is no boss fights, honestly. Like, it's just, and if there is, it involves the tank. Like, it's a tank on tank fight, which is dumb as shit. Those aren't fun. So not having really any boss fights is another downfall of the game. But besides those two kind of disappointing aspects, overall the game's great. It's a great game for sure. Trying to think if I'm missing anything. I don't think so. But I mean, I wrote a review for it. If you want to go to GameInformer.com and just go to the user blogs, and briefly, I wrote a review for it, and I gave it a 9.25 out of 10. So it's considered, like, I would consider it the third best game on this generation so far, behind Bloodborne and Witcher 3. It's pretty close to Bloodborne, and it's pretty close to Sunset Overdrive. I mean, those three are kind of really closely tied in my opinion. But I would consider it the third best game. And if they found a way just to, like, if you took away the really bad parts of this game and just found a way to just stick something that was okay, it would probably be the best overall Batman game. But because you have the Batmobile with Bat Tank and no boss fights really, I would consider it's the worst of the Rocksteady Arkham games. But just because it's the worst doesn't mean it's not a great game. It's still a great game. It's worth playing, no doubt about it. Especially during summer where there's not a whole bunch to play. Like, this is a must-get game for sure. It's fun to play. It's real fun besides the back tank missions. But you still have half the main story where you don't do that, and that's the best part. In the side missions, you really don't use the back tank much besides for a few of them, which is why I probably liked them a lot. But yeah, Batman Arkham Knight, I thought it was a great way to end one of the best series in the last decade. I look forward to what Rocksteady is going to do next. Maybe we're going to do like a Superman game. Maybe we do something completely different. I don't know. The true ending doesn't really give you a lot to go off of what they could be working on next. I'll say that. But yeah, I loved it. It was a great game to play. Definitely. Definitely. It's actually a pretty easy game to get achievements in too. Like, I have like 67% of the achievements, and I basically only did the main story once and a majority of the side stuff, and I got 67%. So you could probably get 100% or a platinum trophy pretty easily. So but yeah, so Batman Arkham Knight, definitely worth getting, no doubt about it. It's my third favorite game of the year, and I mean, so far, if it was any other, like, if Batman Arkham Knight came out last year, it'd be my game of the year. But it's come out in a pretty good year so far, and we still have a few more kind of heavyweight hitters yet to come. So it's been a pretty good year so far. It's first half of the year, and we've already had 3 really good games, or 3 great games, and tons of really good games. But yeah, I'll wrap up Press Start Press Start podcast for this week. So next week, I don't know what I'm gonna be talking about in the second segment because I've already talked about whatever I'm doing really right now. I doubt there'll be much news. 4th of July is gonna happen, so that's gonna probably make it even less news. So yeah, so we'll see what happens next week. But I've been Briefly. You have been watching the Press Start Pop. I can't speak today. I don't know why. Press Start podcast, and I'll see you in next week's show. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.